Social analytics systems are designed to give you a wealth of information about key topics being discussed by your high value markets. It'll give you things like sentiment analysis. Is it a positive or negative communication? Who's making the communication? Where's it coming from? What are the key sites that are a part of the conversation? And this allows you to get into very detailed analysis. So I want to show you tools where you can do a more holistic look at everything that's going on in a given topic area. One tool that I like is Brand24. This is a fairly new system. And what you have to do is you have to sign up, and it gives you a 14-day free trial. So you have a limited amount of time to use it, but it gives you a wealth of information when you do. This is how Brand24 looks like when you've logged in. What you do is you're going to set up a project. So you put in a keyword. And so I could put in sports marketing. Click on the next button. It then says what languages do you want to use. And if you leave it blank, it's all languages. And then you click on Get Mentions. And at this point, it saves the project. And now it's loading up the number of mentions that we have for the sports marketing. The challenge is it takes a little time to do this. It'll take a minute or so. And so, okay, here it is rolling through. So this is sports marketing. I've also done one for digital marketing. And so it's collecting, basically discussions that have happened in the last 30 days. For this one, it's at 8:08, and it's still pulling in data. So it'll take a little bit. Let me see if I can go to the earlier one that I did on digital marketing. And so it's now going to pull this one together. It has quite a number of thousands of views here. So what it shows you is the trend over time. Okay, and you can see the social media reach, and you can do a lot of different breakouts on it. But it's the number of reach and the number of actual mentions. It gives you key information on what is happening throughout the social pyramid, which is really useful. And then it gives you some of the key discussions that are having. And notice it's showing you the negative ones as well as the positive ones. Over here on the left side, you can download a PDF report. You can build an infographic of the number of mentions and so forth. We're in summary right now. And so then what we can do is move to analytics. And the analytics will go through and look at, what's happening. It gives you a lot of information here over on the right-hand side as to the number of mentions, positive mentions, negative mentions, that allow you to analyze specific components of the discussion. You see the results from blogs and from other things in the pyramid. So it gives you a lot of detailed information that you can use. Sources allow you to see what are the primary sources of this information. In other words, where are the conversations happening and on what media are they happening? It's a very, very useful way to analyze what's going on in a market. The next one you can do is quotes. And you can set up a comparison. So I could compare digital marketing and sports marketing and do it. This is a really, really fantastic tool to get deeper into the social conversations and see what exactly is happening and be able to look at it on a page-by-page basis. This is authors. Now I can look at specific pages. So for every one of these tabs, you can break the data down into some very meaningful bits of information that will help you build your social strategy. In order to best monitor social conversations in the markets that you want to develop, you need some really good tools. And one of the best free tools is a site called Socialmention, which you see here. When you go to Socialmention, it works much like any internet browser, in that what you do is you type in what you want to look for. So I want to look for social marketing. And what it does is it has a box here on the right that says all. That means what you're going to do is you're going to do a search for all the activity today across the entire social pyramid for the word social marketing. Now, if I wanted, I could also hone it down to just the bloggers, Or I could look at what they call microblogs, and that's a technical term that actually means social networks like Facebook and Twitter. If you think about them, they're just small blogs, they're microblogs. I can also look at bookmarks or images, but right now I will look for all, which I tend to do. To save a little time, if I click on search, this search button here, it'll search for it. It'll probably take about 10 to 15 seconds. So rather than you watching the wheel turn, I've already done it for just a minute ago. And this is what it takes you to. Up at the top, you notice it says social marketing. I can also look at the blogs and microblogs and bookmarks, etc. up on top. And so there's two things before we get into the meat of what is there. The first one is what is called preferences, which you get to after you've done a search. And for preferences, I can go in and I can have the number of items produced on a page, which the default's usually the right one. But I can also choose to only look at it in these languages. And so if you wanted to look at a specific sort of a language preference, you set that up and save that as your preferences, and it'll show you that for that language. We'll keep it in English for right now. The second thing I have is advanced search, which is up here right by the search button. If I click on that, what it does, it allows me to clean up a search. So let's say one of my clients is a power, they produce power supplies. And so one of the things I look for is AC/DC. Well, AC/DC is not only a type of power supply, but it's also a rock band. And so what I could do is I could say, give me all the things that are AC/DC, AC space DC, and different variations. I can also look for an exact phrase. If I wanted to say, I wanted to see social marketing, but those two words have to be right together, I can put that in here. The bigger one is unwanted phrases. So let's go back to the AC/DC example. I would put AC/DC, but I want all the words AC/DC, but I don't want anything if it refers to MP3, heavy metal band, rock band, and so forth. So I can suppress things that are conversations with my term in it, but not conversations of interest to me. I can also, of course, look at it for any different source from all the way down. It's set here to blogs. And I can also look at it at any time. What it's pulling is really information from an entire day's worth of activities. So if I fill that in and click the advanced search, that would allow me to do that. But we won't do it now. The key is what this does is it's going to actually go across the entire pyramid and identify where conversations are happening. Down the middle here, you see a whole bunch of discussions that are in blue, like this is a white paper on the current state of social media marketing. And so the key is we could roll down through. Now this one said social media marketing, but I said social marketing I'm looking for. If I put into the exact phrases, it would have suppressed this particular item. All of these are live, so you click on them, it'll actually take you to these sites to see what's going on. And so what you can do is you can use this to look at it, but I also find the statistics to be more useful. The statistics are over here on the left-hand side. The first one is strength, and if you put your cursor over it, it'll actually explain to you what it's looking at, but this is a number of things that have happened in the last 24 hours and how patient, how much discussion there is happening there. This is a very important one. This is called sentiment. And you notice it's 12 to 1. That means there's 12 positive conversations for every one negative. One of the things I like to do with my clients is to have them use Socialmention to go out at least once a week and put in their company name up in the search box. And if you're seeing suddenly a shift from 12 to 1 to something like 1 to 12, that means you've got a crisis brewing and you need to do it. So you can use sentiment to measure it. What we're seeing here is it's a very positive conversation today about social marketing. Passion is how passionate are people. And what it basically does, if you notice, there's 223 mentions, which is located here where my cursor is pointing. And I have 115 unique authors over here. So it's a fairly passionate conversation. A lot of the authors have done 2 or more inputs into the social cloud about the words social marketing. Finally, we can look at how much reach. This is how influential are the people, and so bigger numbers are better. So that works really well. Then it says the average mention was, number of seconds. Last one was 2 minutes ago. 115 unique authors, and these are the number of retweets. Now, as you go down the left-hand side, there's some really good data. First off, you see sentiment, positive versus negative. You notice in most of these free systems, most of the conversations are neutral, meaning they couldn't classify them, or there was positive and negative comments. But the key is these are all live. So if I clicked on positive, it'll just show me these 37 positives, and I could look at those. The next ones that are really important are keywords. Keywords are the words that people are using to define the conversation. So there's a number of them talking social, media, marketing, sales discussions, and so forth. All of these are live, so if I just wanted to look at the sales discussions, I could click on that and it will just show me those in the center. Also, it has the top users. These are the people that are putting in a lot of conversation. And so you can click on each one of those and see who they are and follow them if you so desire. The top hashtags is another huge thing. This is a way people are linking together to discuss social marketing on Twitter. And so these are the hashtags you need to know. And finally, at the bottom, we have the different sources. You notice there's a lot of photo bucket activity, meaning these people are posting out pictures relative to social media marketing. Twitter is one, Reddit is another one, that's one of the passion communities and so forth. WordPress is a blog. So what you could do, again, you can look at each one of these. The real neat part about this system is over here. It's the CSV data. So what I can do is I can download and put into an Excel spreadsheet top keywords and top hashtags, which are things you're going to need to have in your reservoir so that when we start marketing our blog and things, we can go out to the key people using the key hashtags and keywords that they want to use. Also, keywords are very useful if you're going to put up a video. You can put in keywords which will help people search. And since keywords are the words they're using to search about social marketing in this example, it's very, very useful. The way I tend to use this is in my browser, I will open up a whole bunch of social mentions, and I won't do just one term, I'll do a lot. So for example, if I was doing something on social marketing, this one would do social marketing, the next one would do social media marketing, I might do things like big data, big social data, and just all sorts of different terms. And what I do is I go through and I look at what the tone and sentiment is, I look at who's talking, but more importantly, I download using the CSV here all the top keywords and I put them into a single document, and I take all the top hashtags and put that into a single document so that I can understand what people are hooking up about when they're talking about social media marketing, social marketing, big data marketing, cloud marketing, whatever. And so what you want to do is sit down and think through your target market. What would they be talking about and so forth, and begin to put those into Socialmention to pull it off. Incidentally, it doesn't have to be social media marketing. It could be the name of my firm and what I think are my competitors or key people. And so it'll look for anything you want to look for to help you define it. But so use social marketing wisely. It's a very, very powerful tool. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you should be looking for conversations about your company every week to see if there's any sentiment shifts. But you can also use this just to mine any markets that you want. Save the keywords, save the hashtags, those are really important. Look at the sentiment, positive and negative, see what they're talking about, if there's a difference, to just kind of learn. And it's something you can do for free. You can use it as much as you want. It's a great, great tool to really help you define your target market and understand what they are doing in the social cloud. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at rlavick@msinetwork.com through Northwestern, or you can contact me on Twitter and on LinkedIn. If you have any great sites that you stumble across that would be useful for my followers and my classes, please let me know. Thank you.